In Invincible, after Mark becomes a leader of the Viltrumites and years go by, eventually he finds himself alone in Alan's office, having a key meeting between these two galactic leaders, as Alan tells Mark that they go way back. When they first met, the two of them fought, and it was Mark who stopped their fight and peacefully resolved the conflict, making the two of them into friends. That moment, Alan says, is like a precursor to everything you're doing now with the Viltrumites, and you have to really believe that. I find that remarkable. It's amazing, it really is. But Mark turns back to Alan looking angry, knowing what this meeting is about, saying, "You didn't call me here for compliments. Stop wasting our time and just come out with it." This is where Alan shows his true colors yet again, as he tells Mark that Mark and the Viltrumites are becoming a problem. They're eliminating threats, shutting down hostile races, and bringing peace to parts of the universe that have literally been at war since the beginning of time. This all sounds like a good thing, right? But for Alan, he says this has been a major headache because it's causing a lot of people, hell, even their entire planets, to leave the coalition, since they feel like they don't need Alan, Talescria, or the rest of the coalition for safety anymore. Alan goes even further, saying it feels like they don't think the coalition needs to exist at all, as Mark says, maybe it doesn't. And Alan immediately facepalms, having enough experience with Nolan and Mark at this point to know what comes next. They don't agree on principle, so they must fight. This actually leads to a brief battle between Mark's Viltrumite forces and the Coalition's heroes, where we see that the Viltrumites have changed their usual costume into Invincible's yellow and blue, while they go up against characters like Tech Jacket, Universa, and Space Racer, who we've discussed already. At the end of this, Alan lays in a crater as Mark reaches out his hand towards him, and Alan is shocked. He's like, "Man, you're really just gonna change everything, aren't you?" And Mark, with a cold expression, looks back and says, "Yes. If it makes the world a better place, I'm gonna change it all." Mark explains that the Coalition seems helpful on the surface, but in actuality, they drain resources from poor worlds to give it to the richer worlds like Talescria to keep them afloat, basically sentencing entire planets into poverty and scarcity. All of this could have been prevented if Alan had just come to Mark in the first place. They would have found a better way. But now the work will begin to make those injustices right, as off on Talescria, Mark's daughter Tara relaxes on a beach, telling Ursal, her fellow Viltrumite, that there's a faction of them who are thinking about leaving the Empire because they don't understand why Mark, the leader of peace, would start a war with the Coalition, and they have concerns about the direction the Empire is heading in. But next, let's talk about Tara a little more.